Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Narayanam Hirshikesham Govindam Garudhadvajam Vasudevam Harim Krishnam Keshavam Pranamamyaham. Hari Om. Jai Shri Krishna and welcome to Hinduism in Focus. As you know, this program comes to you through the kind compliments and blessings of the Sanatan Vedic Dharma Pandit Sabha Region 3. Today we are observing countrywide Holika Dahan, or what we also call the Eve of Phagwa, or Holi as it were, tomorrow being that national observance, at least in our country. And so it is only fitting that we use today's time to talk about the festivities generally, and more so Holika Dahan. And I will begin to say that this festival is as old as the Bharatiya civilization itself. That is to say, as long as this civilization had existed or have existed, so long has been this festival of Holi or Phagwa, because it is a what we call Vasant Utsav, the festival of spring, the festival of harvest, the festival of sacrifice, of thanksgiving, and the festival of recognizing the bounties, the blessings of nature, and to celebrate nature itself, to mimic nature as it were. And within this celebration, that is to say within the observance of Holika Dahan, of Phagwa, of Holi, or of Vasant Utsav, which covers the entirety of the festival that we had started on Vasant Panchami, there are perhaps dozens or more than dozens in some cases, traditions, legends, stories, both in terms of literature and of course in terms of historical occurrences. So we have within them such endless types of stories and legends. None is exclusive, but they bring to our attention, they bring to fore the fact that how ancient the observance is, that it has come to be intermingled, intertwined, and come to embrace a whole plethora of activities, stories, legends, ideas, and historical facts as they are. And so what we have to understand when we try to contextualize this whole festival is that there is no one legend, story, or idea that is absolute in the definition of the celebration. But what covers the celebration is what we can call the celebration of life, a celebration of thanksgiving, a celebration of embrace, and a celebration of nature's bounty with gratitude. That is it. So from one perspective, Holika Dahan was set up to observe what we call Purnima, or the full moon vrat, in which the bonfire is set up outdoor, and people, because we originated from an agrarian society where our foreparents are engaged in farming, and more so before then, even from the what we call the earliest days of the civilization, we were a subsistence economy, in fact a subsistence world as it were. So everybody produced from the farm. Everyone reared a cow for milk for the household. Everyone planted the crops. So like this, the entirety of the society was agrarian. And so on this occasion of Holika Dahan, which is a Thanksgiving ceremony or time, and happens on the Purnima, what we call the full moon time, everybody would bring whatever they produce from their farms to make this grand offering to Agni, to the fire, to make this grand offering to Prithvi, to the earth, to make grand offering to Vayu, the wind, to Varuna, to all the various elements that make up nature. Thanksgiving is given to the forces which produce, the forces which give us life, which sustain us. And it therefore was considered what we call a Mahayajna, a great or grand Vishala Yajna, grand sacrifice process of offering what we produce from our farm. And that was basically grains, which represent in a larger way the symbol of food, of sustenance. So it is in this spirit of thanksgiving that Holika Dahan was set up, and it is out of that idea, because it is so long and so ancient, that even now and even as of recent, we all grew up that we should roast a coconut in this fire and partake of it as prasad after. It came from only that understanding and that tradition of thanksgiving, because you are making offerings of what you produce, thanking nature for its bounty. And that is a fundamental teaching enshrined in Shastra, that the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself talks about yajna, which is done for the welfare of the society, in which offerings are made to the fire so that the function of the forces of the cosmos can take place smoothly as they are intended to so do, which produces rain which floods the field which produces the food through photosynthesis, dependent on the sunlight, the moisture, the water, everything in the land, fertility. With the combination of all these elements, the land becomes fertile, which is what we call Mother Prithvi, like that, and we give gratitude. So that is the essential, historical, and of course, I believe most apt idea of Holika Dahan. It is a bonfire, it's a hawan really, that we should be doing. And over time it got devolved, and in that process, as we said, so many other legends came to be and to be associated with the occasion. That too, we have come to say that we are recapturing or reliving what we call the episode of Holika in the Bhagavatam and several other Shastras, of the Bhakta Prahlad being placed in this fire upon his puva or his aunt's lap, that her name was Holika, and like this we got it. Not necessarily so. That was later added to at some point in time, but it is not to debate or to minus it altogether. It is only to show perspective of it. It is only to show how over time so many things can happen. It is not an argumentation as to a question of right and wrong. It is about the individual conviction based on his own understanding and his depth also of study of the Shastras. And so I believe that whole idea has taken over, and it is all fine. We all know that we are not putting anyone in there, and we have come to accept that and to give meaning to the whole process of the bonfire on this occasion, such as the triumph of good over evil, the destruction of vices, and the propagation of values and virtues which Prahlad stood for, and the power of bhakti. And all of these things now have come to stay with us, and they have added to the whole grand celebration of Holika Dahan. So that is the occasion we are celebrating today, and from whichever angle you take it, the most important thing is that we are able to upkeep a tradition that is directly connected to man's obligations to nature, and that is a process of thanksgiving, a celebration of life, a celebration for the bounties of nature. And after this is done, we soak each other, we play with each other, and we mimic nature through colors, as it were. And that is why the colors also are endless in this process. And that puja that is done, as we said, was for this purpose of Thanksgiving, is Havan, and also because of Purnima in the other, I would say, other arm of the tradition. Mahavishnu is worship. It is a grandest occasion for the worship of Mahavishnu. As they would say, Satnarayan Vratkata also is being done, or sometimes based on the locality, the various traditions are practiced. So I would say that with the combination of all these legends, ideas, practices surrounding Holika Dahan, it makes it richer. It is not a question of a debate of right and wrong. In Sanatan Dharma, such things will not happen. And wherever such things happen, they don't necessarily align with the spirit of Sanatana Dharma. And so, for whatever reasons they are, because this civilization is as old as anything, as time itself, if we can put it that way, we have come to embrace all that which is positive, uplifting. And people gradually over time have also come to accept that the tree that is planted on Vasant Panchami should not go there. And whether people put it or not a question of debate. It's all about a question of people's own realization, how things themselves got carried away at some point in time. So I have noticed over the years people have not placed it, and that is commendable. And we should not force others to also not put it. They will come to know that in their own time. But we can all speak and discourse on ideas and proper interpretation and contextualization of the Shastras, the history, the tradition, the culture, as they all are. And so on this festive celebration of Holika Dahan, on this occasion when we give thanks and we give gratitude, thanksgiving, we make sacrifice to nature, it is important for us to recognize that through the grace of the Lord that we are all enjoying this nature, and it is this nature which gives us our own sustenance, which grants to us our own well-being. In fact, life itself, as Bhagavan Krishna spoke in the Bhagavad Gita, is a very popular verse, should be made a process of sacrifice. Life itself should become the ideal yajna. And in Havan, this is what we are taught. The idan na mama, this offering is for Agni. It is not for me. This offering is for Soma. It is not for me. It is for Prajapati. It is not for me. Prajapati, Agni, Soma, Indra, they are all the various elements of the nature which causes cosmos to operate, such as power to generate heat, generate lightning, electricity, water, and like this. And so Krishna himself talks about that this is a stepping stone, Havan, gratitude, yajna, the thanksgiving to nature is the stepping stone. It is perhaps the first step of the ladder towards ultimately making this piece of life a true sacrifice for the welfare of others and my own welfare in the process. So life itself should become a yajna, as the verse itself in verse 27 of chapter 9 Bhagavad Gita, here Krishna said, Yat karoshi yadhash nasi yajohoshi dadhasi yat tapasyasi konteya tat kurushva madharpanam. The Lord says, whatever you do, whatever you consume, whatever you offer as oblation, whatever gift you bestow as charity, and whatever you do as penance, as worship, he says, offer all of that to me. So when all of this thanksgiving is given to nature and nature is celebrated, the spirit is one of surrender and of true selfless sacrifice to the Lord, by whose power nature itself operates. And nature itself comes under the superiority, the power and glory of the Supreme Paramatma, who encourages us in the Bhagavad Gita to make ourselves to a yajna, as it were. So on this festive occasion, on the eve of Holi or Phagwa as we know it, I want to wish all of you the very best. Please enjoy this occasion of Holika Dahan and revel in our Chautal music and everything that comes to celebrate life as it were and as per the tradition. Tomorrow when we meet, we will discourse further. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om.